Good morning. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Vetiva Capital Management and our media partners at Frontier Africa Reports, we would like to thank you for joining us on our breakfast meeting this morning. It is Monday, the 9th of August, 2021. As always, this meeting is being recorded and the audio file may be shared with third parties. The meeting is also being broadcast live on our Vetiva online page on Facebook, and the meeting is set to last for 30 minutes. If you have any questions over the course of the meeting, please drop them in the Q&A box on Zoom, whereas those joining us on Facebook may use the comment function, and we will treat all questions after all speakers are done. On our agenda today, we'll get a rundown of the Ghanaian equity and fixed income markets from our guest today from IC Securities, after which we'll move to our global equities desk for equities from the West African region, and then we'll move to the fixed income desk for fixed income and currencies. After this, we will conclude with Frontier Africa Report in their updates, and then we will then take questions. We will now start off with Johnson and the Ghanaian markets. Good morning, Johnson.
Hello, good morning, and good morning to you all. The Ghana stock markets continue to trend upwards, with major gainers bridging their year highs on the back of positive half-year 2021 earnings reports. 5 gainers supported market growth, with Unilever Ghana leading the pack of gainers, advancing by 46 pesos to 2 cedis 66 pesos. Enterprise Ghana, EcoBank, and Total Ghana closed the week with new year highs of 1 cedi 95 pesos, 7 cedis 30 pesos, and 4 cedis 1 peso respectively. On the other hand, CPC lost a peso and was the sole loser for the period under review. Market turnover was 6.4 million Ghana cedis, down by about 46% from the previous week, with MTN Ghana continued to contribute a majority of the traded value. We tip market growth to persist for this week, supported by a positive sentiment across the local base. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnson. We will now move to Simbiat from our global equities desk for equities. Good morning, Simbiat.
Good morning, Dozie, and good morning to everyone. I'll be starting off in BRVM. The market closed the week on a positive note as the composite index ended Friday's session with a 59 basis point gain. And market saw Secor leading the gainers chart with a 7.47% price appreciation, and the week-to-date return was also about 25%. And over on the losers chart, topping the chart was Safka Kodova with a 7% price depreciation, and stock also lost about 15% week to date. Speaking to activity level, Friday's session saw a decline in both volume traded and turnover. All sectoral indices for last week ended the week in the green, with the exception of BRVM public utilities. This was largely due to the recent sell-off in Sodi Kodova, resulting to the stock losing 5.54% week to date. Our expectation going into the week, we expect the market to follow the prevailing trend from Friday's session. However, we do not rule out some profit-taking activities in some counters. And over in Nigeria, the Nigerian equities market also closed the week positive, although marginally, as all-share index only gained 2 basis points. The market saw increased buy interest in counters like Oando, Adova, and Transcorp, leading to a 95 basis points gain in the oil and gas index. However, the week-to-day return of all sectoral indices closed in the red, but overall, the market posted a 68 basis point gain last week. Activity levels were a bit elevated compared to what we saw in Thursday's session. Volume and value traded improved by about 20% and 18% respectively. And going into a new week, with the absence of any major positive trigger in the market, we expect to see today's session trade quiet, with market sentiments tilting more towards the peers. Thank you, and that'll be all from my end.
Thank you, Symbiote. We will now move to Omori Gay from our fixed income desk for fixed income and currency. Good morning, Omori Gay. You may now speak. Hello, Omori Gay. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. System liquidity improved significantly on Friday to open at 365 billion positive, coming from the 134 billion positive that was recorded on Thursday. Despite the boost in system liquidity on Friday, interbank rate tightened by an average of 14.88% on the back of increased funding need following the CRR and FS retail auction debit. As a result, OBB and overnight rates closed at 20% and 20.5% respectively. We expect interbank rate to trade at lower levels today as funding pressure reduces. The parallel market lost 2 naira on Friday to trade at 510 naira to $1, while the earning window opened at 411.35 naira to $1. The highest trade that was recorded on Friday was 412.5 naira to $1, while the closing rate was 411.5 naira to $1. Brent and WTI lost 1.8% and 1.9% to open today at 69.43 and $66.99 per barrel respectively, as investors expressed concerns that the new pandemic curves in Asia, especially in China, may set back the global recovery in fuel demand. The T-bills market closed last week on a quiet note, with slightly bearish sentiment seen in the market as market players decide to remain on the sidelines in anticipation of market auction that is going to happen this week. However, so continued interest on the long-dated maturities, especially the July 2022 papers, while trades were majorly consummated on the 27th June 2022, 9th June 2022, and the 28th July maturities. Overall average benchmark rate rose by about 8 basis points to close at 5.4% on Friday. The OMO market closed last week on a quiet note with few trades executed on the mid-tenor papers, especially on the February 2022 paper, where average benchmark rate declined marginally by 2.1%, by 2.1 basis points to close at 7.6%. The bonds market traded on a bullish note to close last week as players continue to ramp up volumes in anticipation of a further moderation in rates. The maturities that enjoyed the most action on Friday was the 2027, 2036, and the 2050, while trades were majorly consummated on the 2027 and the 2050 maturities, with average benchmark rate declining by about 6 basis points to close at 12.4% at the end of Friday's trading session. The Eurobond market closed last week on a very active note, and this improved activity was spurred by sell-offs by some investors who are trying to free up cash for the new Nigeria Eurobond issuance. The most actively traded maturities were the Nigeria 2025, 2027, 2038, and the 2047 maturities. The corporate space closed last week on a relatively quiet note with few buy-side interest seen on the Access 2021 Eurobond. For our expectation today, we believe that the bullish sentiment in the bonds market will persist. However, we might witness a muted trading session as market players anticipate the release of the bond offer circular this week, For the T-bills market, we expect it to trade on a quiet note as players turn their attention to the NTB primary market auction that is slated for Wednesday this week. That will be all for fixed income. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amorige. We will now move to Daniel from IC Securities for the fixed income market in Ghana. Good morning, Daniel.
Hi, good morning, and good morning to everyone. I'll first start off with the Treasury bill space. Government of Ghana exceeded its targets at the regular primary auction last Friday by raising approximately 1.29 billion Ghana cedis against the target amount of 1.1 billion Ghana cedis. Total bids tendered were 1.65 billion Ghana cedis on the day for 91, 182, and 364-day bills. Yields for the three tenants fell by 3 basis points, 6 basis points, and 11 basis points to 12.52%, 13.31%, and 16.29% from the preceding bill auction. On the local currency bond market, secondary market started last week on a sluggish note, but eventually picked up at the latter part of the week. Lots of buying interest were seen around the front end of the curve, especially the newly minted 2-year note, which traded in the range of 17 and 17.2% across the week. Mid-2022 and 2026 maturities were also seen trading around 16% and 18.3% levels respectively, while the back end of the curve remained mute all week, with tip secondary market to pick up in subsequent sessions this week. And finally, in the Eurobond space, Ghana curve saw some selling interest last week on the back of issuance expectations and budget announcement. The yield curve traded downwards across last week, erasing previous week's gains and resulting in monthly change of negative 300 basis points on average. Fix the country protests, on the other hand, did not have any impact on the Eurobond market. We expect market participants to trade sentiment across the curve in coming sessions. That's all for fixed income. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Daniel. We will now conclude with Faith from Frontier Africa Reports and their updates. Good morning, Faith.
Good morning to you and good morning to everyone. Here at Frontier Africa Report, start with directing Seaton, the Nairobi Securities Exchange is recording a 33.5% decline in equity turnover in July 2021 to 9.3 billion Kenyan shillings from the 19 0.95 billion Kenyan shillings recorded in July 2021. Also, Tanzania's 25-year treasury bond gets bid worth 585 billion Tanzanian shillings. Ethiopia's annual inflation is hitting 26.5% in July 2021. Moving away from East Africa, in West Africa and Nigeria, leading multinational food and beverage company Nestle SA is investing an additional 175.2 million naira in shares of its Nigerian subsidiary, Nestle Nigeria PLC, to acquire additional 125,515 at a price of 1,396 naira per share. Also, Ivory Coast is set to issue 121 CFA green bond, while Democratic Republic of Congo is raising $7.5 million on the local financial market. In South Africa, Africa Development Bank is releasing $2.5 million grants to improve electronics market in the common market for Eastern and Southern Asia, COMESA, and also the South African Development Community. We're pleased to add that South Africa Development is doing very well in terms of its electronics market. Anglo Gold Ashanti is deepening on a trimmed 2021 production estimate, while the B2 Gold second quarter of 2021 financial results is showing that the gold revenue is going up by up to $363 million. on Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, some others to motivate companies to list and offer. Also, Egypt and Germany is sealing a 12 development finance deal. This is coming from the minister, the finance minister over there in Egypt. Also, Egypt's central bank issues treasury bills worth 11 billion Egyptian pounds on Sunday, that's today, while Tunisia's July inflation is going up sharply to 6.4% versus the 5.7% recorded in June. At the Frontier Africa report. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Thank you, Faith. We have now come to the question and answer portion of the meeting. As earlier mentioned, if you would like to ask a question, you may drop it in the Q&A box and we will treat it, or you may raise your hand on Zoom and we will allow you to speak. Whereas those joining us on Facebook may use the comment function and we will respond. Thank you. Okay, I see that we have no questions today. On behalf of Vetiva Capital Management and our media partners at Frontier Africa Reports, we would like to thank you all for joining us today. We continue to encourage everyone to keep safe, and we look forward to having you join us again tomorrow at 8:30. Good morning.